Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Hello, Middlers. Welcome back to episode 177. If you are a new listener, welcome. My name is Stephanie. I am the Medium in the Middle. And I think my dog Archie is against me recording the podcast. I swear when I start to take out my microphone, set up, get everything ready, he decides it's dinner time and he brings his kibbles right beside me and chews so loudly. I have to wait for him to stop eating before I record. It makes me laugh because it's like clockwork. Do you have something against me, Archie, and the Medium in the Middle podcast? Is it because I've never had you on here? A lot of the editing that I do is either editing out Archie if he barks, if someone walks by the door. There's this train that rolls through Banff that you can hear through the podcast. It's so loud. Or me saying, or so. So that's the real life behind the scenes of a podcaster. Did June fly by for anyone else? I feel like it went by so fast. Today, I have a spirit story for you, and it is about a spirit coming to say goodbye. So, warning, this is a tear jerker. Grab your tissues for this one. It's a sad story, but I wanted to share it with you in real time because I feel like these are the small messages that get ignored and beautiful connections from your loved ones can be missed if we ignore these things that sometimes seem small or silly. So, coming with a spirit story today. Actually, speaking of spirit, one of my friends had their parents visiting in town, so a bunch of us went out to eat with the parents, and she had told them that I was a medium. So when I sat down, the mom was like, "So you're a medium?" And I looked and I was like, "Who told you that?" She's like, "My husband has lots of medium jokes ready to go." And he was like, "I'm a size large myself, but it's nice to know you're a medium." And I laughed, and he had actually a few really good jokes that, of course, I was like, "That's funny, I'm going to remember that." And I don't now remember them. But for the most part now, I generally avoid telling people if they don't already know. Obviously, I have a podcast. I have a million stories I could tell, but that's the reason why I started the podcast was I was telling the same stories over and over and over again. So I now just kind of want to hand people my card and be like, listen to episode 1 to 10 and let's talk about something else at dinner. But I can't do that. So we had some good conversations at dinner. It was just always funny. Sometimes I forget that I'm a medium. And then when someone tells their mom and dad, I'm like, yeah. That's me. And they're like, "How does it work?" I was like, "Okay, let's get into this." So before I get into this week's sad story, let's pull a card. I pulled the card. I literally reached for the Kyle Gray deck, the Angel Guide deck. And I pulled this card. The card is Angelic Protection. A brilliant light of protection is around you at all time. Angels are guiding and guarding you and want you to know you are safe. Whether you're feeling worried about physical, emotional, or spiritual harm or not, this card is confirming that you have spiritual protection. Your angel guide is supporting you and leading you towards positive experiences and outcomes. If you have any decisions to make or opportunities to take, and you are unsure what to do, know that this card is bringing you comfort and support. The angels who are with you only need a prayer from you in order to swoop in and guide you. Okay. If anyone needed that reminder, angelic protection. There you go. Again, whenever I shuffle the cards, I always ask where the podcast listeners need to know. Whenever you listen to this episode, it is currently June 2023. Who knows when you're listening to this, but whenever it crosses your ears, this is what you need to know. Angelic protection. I also wanted to give a thank you to this week's episode sponsor, our friends at DYP Refillery, the first ever podcast sponsor I'm so grateful for. DYP stands for Do Your Part, and their products are designed to be aesthetically pleasing and environmentally conscious, so you can feel good about improving your daily life while also helping the planet. We all love that, moving towards being more eco-conscious. So they have items for your kitchen, laundry, self-care. A few weeks ago, I talked about how I was moving through the cleaning products that I really enjoyed. I got a duster, I got some things for the kitchen. I now have been moving through the self-care products. So I'm really into the shower products that they have. They have body scrubs, they have shower steamers, they have body oils, they have bath bombs, face oils, just so luxurious. And it's always good to know that your products are eco-conscious. So our friends at DYP have generously given us a discount code. Midlers10 at checkout will save you some money. Visit dyprefillery.com, dyprefillery.com. They ship to Canada and the States, and it is a great way to support two local businesses, me and them. So I want to start this story off by saying if you are an OG listener, you will know, if you've been around since episode 1, and that's a lot, that's a lot of episodes ago, you will know who Joe is, not his real name. If you have not been around from episode 1, that's okay. I know there's 177 episodes now, that's a lot. If you don't know, Joe is my ex-fiance. So this all pertains to this episode. Joe and I, again, not his real name, broke up about 5 years ago. I moved back to Banff in 2018, and I haven't really spoken to him since 2019. I don't speak to his family. I don't speak to anyone anymore that is connected to him. And I very rarely think about him. He very rarely pops in my mind. Because I'm psychic, I do know when he's in Banff, so that's usually the only time that he'll pop into my mind, and then I'll find out that he's here. But it was a few weeks ago now, I was having a dream about his grandma, and I was very close to his grandma. We called her Nonna. He was Italian. And I just have been having feelings recently that she is going to pass. And I always would think, like, I wish I could just call her. And I know I should have, but she was just really has been in my mind the last 6 months. And I've been thinking about her. And I was like, should I call her? Should I not call her? I'm like, no, it's weird to call her. But just being like, you get close to grandparents. And we saw them often. And they were a close family. And I was still in their family for many years. So we all became very close. And I was just really thinking about her over the past few months. So last week I had a dream, and my dreams are usually gibberish, but sometimes they are very psychic, and they're usually very helpful in most cases, or they're helpful for somebody else. But I think it was about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, I dreamt about her very clearly, and I don't remember what the dream was about, but I remember waking up, remembering my dream was about Nonna, remembering that it was a bad dream and I had a pit in my stomach. And I got up and I couldn't shake this feeling. And I was like, you know what? How am I going to find out, like, if and when she does pass? Like, I just want to know. Because she's getting old and she was old before. And, it's been 5 years now that I haven't seen her. So it's been a long time. But I never forgot about her. I always think about her. Who needs Joe? I just need Nonna. Like, she's the one that I miss the most. So at the time, this seemed very insignificant. I want to note this. But I woke up, I had this bad feeling, and I just was like, how will I know when and if she passes? Like, what do I do? So I was sitting there thinking, like, how do people find out that people died? And I was like, oh, like obituaries, duh. So I was like, oh, I could Google her name and Google like obituary and see if anything comes up. And then I was like, oh, how awful is that to Google? But I was like, well, if it's there, then you know. And if it's not there, well, then you kind of know because it would be on Google. So I Googled her name and I looked through the obituaries and I didn't see anything. So I just talked myself out of it. Anyone want to guess what I told myself? Steph, you're just crazy. Steph, you're just making this up. Steph, you're just worrying. Why were you just Googling obituaries for Joe's Nonna? Like, stop it. And I literally didn't give it a second thought. I was like, oh, guess I'm wrong. Went on with my day. So I just want to share that like very small and what was like a seemingly insignificant thing that I could have missed. But then last week, I got a text from my dad. And it was a random text message. And you know how dads are, they're just very blunt. And he was just like, he said her name. He said she passed away, ... I don't know if you knew that. And I was like, I did not know that. How did you know that? And how does anyone find out anything? He found out on Facebook. And he was like, was that Joe's grandma? And I was like, yeah. And I was out and I just like started almost crying. I was trying to hold it together. I was at an event. And I was sitting there so sad, and my friends were like, what do you need? And I was like, I don't know. Like, do I go home? We just got to this event. It was just so overwhelming. I wanted to cry. I also knew it. And it took me a minute to realize, I was like, oh my gosh, I dreamt about her last week. So then I was down the whole of Google trying to figure out when she passed, how she passed, where was she, like any information I could find out about to try to figure out, like, did I dream about her the night that she passed? And I couldn't remember the day that I had the dream because, again, it felt so insignificant at the time. And I talked myself out of it. I was like, oh, Steph, you're crazy. Oh, Steph, you're making it up. Stop Googling people's obituaries. But then in that moment, I had all the confirmation that I needed that I didn't make up that dream. I wasn't being crazy. I didn't dream about her for no reason. I wasn't weird to look it up. That didn't mean nothing. It meant something. Like all the things. I get asked all the time if I have self-doubt. And of course, everybody has self-doubt. I really don't believe that self-doubt ever goes away. But when you get the confirmation of it, you have to accept the confirmation. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, she came to say goodbye to me. She came in my dream to tell me goodbye before she passed. And I couldn't narrow down when I had the dream about her, but based on the day that I found out that she passed, when she actually passed, I believe my dream was a few days before that. But it was just such a beautiful visitation that her soul knew our connection. My soul obviously never forgot. And for her to come visit me in my dreams and give me that warning was so beautiful and such a wonderful reminder of spirit and life and death, and we live on past our physical bodies and soul connections and just so many things. But then I felt so stupid, honestly, for ever doubting why I would wake up from a dream and Google something. I literally was like, Steph, why are you Googling someone's obituary? And, a week later, I was like, that's why you were Googling that. And I wanted to share this on the podcast. I know it's a sad story because I know you do this. We all do this all the time. We'll second guess ourselves. We'll talk ourselves out of things. We'll say it was nothing. We'll say we're crazy. We'll say we made it up. We'll say all the things we say to ourselves. And I was ready to just miss Nonna coming to say goodbye to me in my dream. And I always go to worst case scenario. Like, what's the worst case scenario? Okay, you're wrong. Okay, you're crazy. Okay, you looked up someone's obituary and they didn't actually pass. But what if you're right? What if your intuition was correct? What if that message was meant to be delivered? What if it was a visitation? What if your loved ones are trying to come say hi? What if you missed all of that? Like, the worst case scenario of not believing in yourself is that you miss the opportunity, you miss the connection, you miss the intuitive hit, you miss accepting something that is important. And I always try to say that to people when they say, oh, I just thought I was making it up. I just thought maybe I wanted, the bird to be mom. I was always like, why don't you just accept it? What's the worst case scenario if you don't accept it? To me, the worst case scenario is you're missing that visitation. And I almost did that to myself. And I I brushed it off and I thought it was nothing and I thought it was crazy and I thought I was worrying. And yes, a week later when I got the confirmation, it was like, oh yeah, I knew that. I had a dream about it. But how many times do we just let these things pass by? Also, as I'm recording this, my microphone has randomly shut off twice. So I have to press record and it'll start recording my voice and I can see it on there. Scratch that 3 times. But again, another little visitation. My microphone has randomly shut off. That was now the 3rd time. And in 177 episodes, my microphone has never randomly shut off or randomly stopped recording. I have forgotten to hit the record button, but it's never, ever randomly stopped recording until 3 times in this episode. Hi, Nonna. But again, something that could be missed or not taken seriously or been like, oh, maybe after 177 episodes, the record button randomly shuts off 3 times. Oh. So I wanted to share this story because loss is hard, but souls are beautiful. And I wanted to share how Nonna reached out and said bye, how I felt that connection, how I knew, how I got the confirmation. And I also want this episode to serve as a reminder for you to not let these little things slip through your fingers, to not ignore the signs that Spirit sends you, to not think you're crazy, to not think you just made it up. It's important. These things are important. These signs are important. Don't forget that. So I know it's a sadder story today, but this is the reality. People are born, people live, people pass, and mediumship is, we deal with the passing a lot. So it's really beautiful that I got that message and I wanted to share that with you all. So that is my episode for this week. My only other announcement is Reiki trainings, bonanzas. The next level 1, it still has a few spots left, but not many, is in August. The next level 2 is in July with 2 spots left. The Advanced Reiki Practitioner Masterclass is being held live on August 12th. That's continued education for after Reiki Level 2. You don't have to be my student, you just have to be Reiki Level 2 certified, and you can be certified in any Level 2. The class is focused on energy and also client experience, so you can have any certification of Reiki for that. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. I release new episodes every Wednesday, and I would love and appreciate a rating and a review. You can follow along on Instagram at Medium in the Middle. That is my only account. There are lots of scam accounts, so please beware. I will leave all the links that you need down below in the show notes, including the discount code for DYP Refillery. But until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.